Welcome to our Two Posh podcast. I am Gabrielle. I'm your host with my beautiful daughter Marcella.
Hello.
And our Puerto Rican buddy Bernie.
Hola.
And we are so extra excited today because we have Miss Polly with us the entire time.
Yeah.
I mean,
such a treat. Such
Miss Polly has a new job and now she's going to be able to be with us all the time. And we have
That's
missed
the best
you.
news.
Yes, congrats. I saw that. That was awesome.
So happy.
Good.
You don't even know.
Yeah, good for you. That's phenomenal.
And our DJ Spyder, thank you for everything you do for us always.
Yes.
My pleasure.
And we have new lighting in the studio, guys.
It
I don't
feels so
know.
good.
We
I don't know what to do.
this is like
It's a
all
whole
fancy.
bunch of more stuff for me to control back here.
Yeah.
It's getting wild.
This is good.
And we're gonna go live for one show today.
I'm excited about that one.
Not
'cause
this one, but our third recording for the
This'll be
show.
good.
We're gonna go
I'm
live.
petrified, actually.
Me too. Oh my gosh.
Why?
I'm nervous. I don't know. It's like live
Well,
is so
if,
new.
If you think about it, like your first few lives, like there's like 5 people anyway. I know. So
It's all right.
Don't worry.
So we're
But
not
then
even
it goes, like, so many people watch it later.
right.
And-
That is the
Oh
thing.
yeah, I guess if you keep it up.
Right.
Yeah, if you keep it up, so many people watch it later.
That's what
Is
I
that how it
like.
is?
Mhm.
Really?
On
Oh.
Facebook, but we're not going Facebook Live yet. But
No.
we will soon.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Because Spyder has to
All right.
figure all that out. That's complicated. But
Life
I
is
wanted to
complicated.
just say that our first episode, we're going to continue with our pre-marriage checklist that we
That's got
still have
so
to do.
many good reviews. Everyone loves that one.
Everybody
And it's
loves
over
it.
almost.
Is that it?
No, we still got 4 more.
Oh, okay.
However, I want to preface this with that we're going to try to record 4 shows today.
Yep.
And there's one show that Miss Polly has requested specifically. She has the whole entire thing, the subject matter and everything.
Oh, can I know about it yet? Or
And
do we
it
got to
is-
wait?
You're going to have to
Oh,
wait,
okay.
but
All
it's
right.
dedicated to Bernie.
All right.
Wait,
This'll
I don't
work.
even know this.
Something about anal something or blowjobs
Spit.
or spitting or swallowing or something. All right.
Just for our audience to stay tuned.
This will be good. I'm excited. I'm excited.
So,
All for you, Bernie. All for you.
I love it. It's
Yep.
got to be about lube then or something because we always talk about that. You get mad at me. So
Maybe.
I
maybe
can't
not.
wait. Well, I'm excited.
We'll see. But also, thank
Yeah.
you so much for listening to all our new followers and
Yes.
listeners. We're so grateful. I mean, we have almost now, 51,000 downloads, something
So
like that.
crazy.
It's just so
That's
exciting.
insane.
Thank you guys
and
so much.
Amazing.
Right. And so I wanted to remind everyone, please subscribe. Go to
Yes.
all our social media links. We have Twitter. We have YouTube. We have Facebook.
Everywhere.
We have
We are
Instagram.
everywhere.
Yeah,
We're
we are.
everywhere. We're now on Twitch.
TikTok.
Twitch is a new one. I didn't realize that. I mean, is that a new platform that I'm
Twitch
just not used to?
was so I learned about it recently on TikTok. Go figure. It was a live gaming, like
Oh,
people would
Streaming.
streaming
I didn't know that.
games, but now a lot of social media influencers are on Twitch.
We are on everything officially.
Everything.
man.
Everything. I mean, podcast is on more than I personally am.
Also, we are on LinkedIn, and there's actually also a live for LinkedIn as well. We're going to figure all of it out
Yes.
eventually. So,
I can just
One
tell
step at a
you
time.
what?
really quickly that TikTok is addictive. And I'm just going to say,
You're looking at the TikTok
It
queen
is.
right there.
Very addictive.
I'm a big
I don't
fan.
even like not doing it, but just watching it. I'm
you
like,
can't
I lost
stop.
like 4 or 5 hours of my life that I'm like, I can't get back. And I'm like, what is going on?
Have you seen how many followers Marcella has on there?
How many do you have?
I haven't even gotten to her yet. I'm sorry.
Miss Polly, you have to find me.
I'm the only
She
one
has
who's
like
not on TikTok.
370,000 or something.
I'm
It's
a big
insane.
fan of the dark side of TikTok. So like
See, and
videos
see,
of
I
guys
feel
trying to hit
like
on girls, stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like it because it's funny and it's not so like Instagram is so sometimes fake and serious, and TikTok just gives me comedic relief.
I slipped into the TikTok kink thing. I don't know how that happened.
Well, Spyder, what people dating on there?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, no. There's guys who misdirect their comments, I think, and just put them on TikTok. how they want a woman and how they haven't had a woman. All this stuff. They are fantastic videos.
Yeah,
funny.
I believe
Really?
that.
Yeah. Have you not even
yeah.
looked
No,
to do dating
no,
lives.
I've only seen what people post on like Instagram
the
or
Reels.
Facebook, the reels,
Yeah.
and they're always good. I mean, there's tons of good ones
So
on there,
crazy.
but
And
There's
you
a-
would love it. All the political
Oh
stuff
my
on
gosh.
there. Oh
Really?
my gosh.
Really?
Trump side of TikTok.
see, I gotta get. So
Oh
do
my.
do I have to register an account to be able to have
Yes.
access to it? I guess it'd be easy to do.
Yeah, but you don't have to do anything. And then if you have to, because a lot of people are like, I hate it because it's all 14-year-old girls dancing
No.
and guys.
Not
Wait,
at all,
hold on.
though.
I'm
Not
going to.
at all.
No.
Right. But you have to, if that's, they'll come up on your For You page, but all you have to say is like not interested in content like that.
Yeah.
And then it'll never really, it starts to, the reason why TikTok is so addicting is it is the smartest app because it starts to realize what video you'll watch.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, they like that. So your page is really dedicated to Bernie or
Oh, wow.
dedicated to my mom or Spyder.
What
That's
you
like,
like.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. My newest thing is prison TikToks.
Prison
oh my God, it's
TikTok.
great. I've seen that.
Like real prison TikToks.
Yeah, like showing you
seriously.
how they cook food and stuff.
How do they even have phones in there to do TikTok? I thought they couldn't. Am I wrong?
They got all kinds of
They-
stuff by
they have
if you look at these
Facebook.
videos.
I didn't know
Facebook,
that.
Facebook.
Facebox. I'm sure that's the newest thing.
Like,
I didn't think they could have phones in prison to. I mean, clearly I'm missing the boat on that.
I'm missing
Oh
that.
my
too.
gosh.
Wow.
But anyway,
Hey, I thought
Yeah.
we'd start with our premarital checklist, part 6.
I like it. Dan Cross, this is your thing. Dan loves this.
You guys are like best
I
friends.
know Dan's my boy. Dan's a good buddy of mine, but he specifically this was his favorite show he has ever done. Like that he's ever been listening to. He's like, this is the one. He said he got the most out of it. So,
No way.
Yes,
yeah,
he-
Dan.
yeah, I know, right? So
I know.
yeah, he was like, this is the best one you guys have done.
Well, it is really, I mean, it makes you really think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you have to really think about all those things. So I wanted to do this one with your medical information.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, super important. For me, this is a huge one because I think each person coming from whatever growing up you come from handles medical stuff differently. And like I have friends that over medicate their children and have always over medicated their children, and I was always so stressed out because I come from a family that doesn't do that at all.
Yeah.
And I've always thought, oh my goodness, if I was married to someone that believes in that, how detrimental that could be
Yeah.
for your children. And the first question with that is you need to ask your future husband or wife, does anyone in your family suffer from alcoholism?
Those are really and to preface this before we even go into it, this is all subjective, right? This is all opinionated, and so even if you disagree, it's truly coming from raw perspective. All
Right.
three of us, right, or all 4 or 5 of us, including
Yeah.
everyone here. So, but I think that's a big deal because a lot of that is it can be passed down for sure, and some of that stuff also is very much a learned behavior, right? So if you have an alcoholic in your
That's very
family,
good.
you get to. I mean, and you're exposed as a child, they soak up everything, right? And so they see that kind of behavior and somehow that seed gets planted. At least that's in my mind. That's what I think.
It's true.
Yeah.
That is a huge thing.
Yeah.
And I think it is also how you deal with it, I believe. Like my family, my grandfather and my dad both were alcoholics. And my grandfather was an alcoholic because he was in World War II and he got injured and everything. He was in concentration camp.
Wow.
And so I think that led to him.
self-medicating.
I think that led to him becoming an alcoholic from
So
everything he saw.
Was that how he dealt with the PTSD, the post-traumatic stress disorder?
So.
of it?
I think so.
So on a very personal, I mean, have you ever, you seem pretty straight laced just from the time I've gotten to spend with you. Is that ever something you've ever had to kind of maybe deal with? Alcoholism at all? Personally, yeah.
I am hypersensitive to it. I extremely hypersensitive to it. I know people make fun of me, but I don't drink shots ever. That's one of the reasons. I don't drink hard liquor really.
Yeah.
For that reason.
And it's really weird because I feel bad for her sometimes because it was grandfather, father, and not to throw anyone under the bus. And we don't have to say they are, but a lot of friends. Like, and I'm not talking like friends that party. Like I'm talking, I mean, a friend has passed away from being an alcoholic and then, rehabs, plural. And we're like, why does everybody fall into her lap?
It's very strange.
Did you deal with any part of that at all?
No,
'Cause,
I have
I know we used to
zero
both of us party like crazy.
party
I mean,
like crazy, but I have a zero addictive personality.
Yeah.
I always tell people, I'm like, I partied because I wanted to,
Yeah.
not to mask anything at all. I personally feel like when I'm upset or something is wrong, alcohol makes it way worse for me. I'm like sobbing, crying in a corner. So I don't have an addictive personality at all. Like I could stop.
I don't have an
anything.
addictive personality at all. However, I have said before, like my friend and I have talked about this, that every single person at one point or another could have possibly gone down that road, but it comes down to self-discipline, I believe,
Sure.
because if you have a lot of things to deal with and going on, I mean, sometimes at 10 a.m., I don't know, does it sound good to have alcohol? I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
there have been those days, but then I've made the conscious decision not to do so.
Yeah.
Or the party life. I mean, even like there was a point where I had a lot of money.
Decision, yeah.
A conscious decision. And like where we would go to lunch all the time, and I used to do a lot of charity work, and we would have these luncheons, and they
drinking.
always bring you alcohol at lunchtime. And I
Really?
only did that one time.
How was
and
that
I
for
was
you?
like, I hated it. I was so tired.
heavy.
I was miserable. I was like, I don't want to feel that ever again. And then I
Yeah.
never did it. So
I can't. Yeah, I can. I know when people, and I used to do it. Just it wasn't out of being addicted. It was just because I chose to. I liked
Right.
partying. I liked
Right.
drinking,
Like,
and
I want to do
liked-
this.
I liked all the drugs I did when I did them back in the day.
Right.
Yeah.
But the now when I know people doing Sunday fun day, I'm like, oh, that sounds horrible.
Horrible.
Like there's nothing about drinking at 11 or noon. Even, and this is not a judgmental thing when I say this, but even like a mimosa, like I mean, it has to be. I may have to be on vacation, like on the beach in Mexico. If I'm going to do that, and the whole time I'm drunk from Mexico.
But you know that, like when you say that, because I know Bernie and I part. If you've never listened to the show, this is how I know Bernie. Anyways, is I met Bernie first years ago when we were crazy in Dallas. But what's funny is that we're talking about this. It's really interesting because New Year's Day, so January 1st, I remember waking up and looking outside and being like, God, I can't imagine still being up. Like I used to do that.
God,
Like
yes.
New Year's was like a crazy. We would be at after hours. I would end up at Ecstasy at the strip club. And then you go outside and the sun is coming up and there's that like gray dawn color and it's freezing and you're in a tiny dress and you've no rest. And I thought I like a lot more where I am in life now. But it's weird to think about but then people fall into that trap and then they don't stop. So that becomes a problem. But I know we're talking about like medication with this, but I was thinking if you ask your significant other about that would be when you have kids and leaving your children with a grandparent, right? Like we can't leave our kids
That
with
was
your
huge.
mom
Huge
because
for me.
I was remember you were saying that
Huge.
Yeah.
I couldn't leave my kids with my dad. Couldn't do it.
he's an alcoholic, right?
Yeah.
But imagine if you have to fight with your spouse about like say they have a mother who's like an alcoholic and then it becomes an issue because you're like, I don't want to leave my kids with her. And they're like, why not? It's my mom. She'll take care of them. Well, because she's drunk all
It's
the
a
time.
lot.
But I mean,
Important things though.
for sure, and it goes down to. I mean, those are things to even think about in dating, right? And this
Yes.
is just in the standpoint, not just about, hey, would you guys want to leave? Would you want to leave our kids with one of the drunk parents? The other question
The drunk
is,
parent.
would you want to be in a relationship with someone who had that drama in their life? Because it is
that's
something to
true.
think about, right?
Then you have that.
You have that the rest of your life. I mean, and now,
It's like a child.
yeah.
And you have to be so careful of the relationship with like that person whose parent is an alcoholic because usually those adult children come from I don't even know how to
Dysfunctional homes.
very dysfunctional home. And now
Yep.
their relationship with that parent is probably extremely strained.
Yeah.
They probably have experienced that parent being extremely mean to them. So now they don't want to upset that parent.
And it's a very difficult conversation.
Yep. Very
And
difficult.
the word flow when you're there in a family situation, because I deal with having a stepfather who is an alcoholic. Like,
How has that been for you? So how has that been for you? That's a great
That is great.
question. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
was
been
it
pretty sucky.
even to this day? Is it strained?
Very.
Mhm.
I like if the family is together, the whole conversation. So not only do I have my biological father, who was abusive, sexually towards me.
Ow.
But you have now a stepfather who is an alcoholic. And so conversation over the holidays is a strain.
I bet.
Wow.
Because so many topics are off the table. You don't know what you can say, when you can say it. You can't joke about anything, or certain topics are just don't. The worst part is when the alcoholic begins to, he picks a topic and then he'll just dig, and he'll go off the deep end and get really loud and start an argument.
And isn't it crazy? Don't you feel like the people who have, like, in families, the alcoholic, like, they always get a pass because they're drunk, so they can be mean and horrible, and everybody has to excuse it because they're wasted.
Is it their? Do you think it's they're excusing it, or is it more that they don't want to deal with that shit?
That too, but then it's all that person always gets all the attention.
Yeah.
It's like we have to say it's a sibling, like, God forbid, but let's say one of my two siblings had that problem. All attention goes to that person.
Your siblings are so innocent. I couldn't even
know.
imagine that.
They won't.
And
God,
Jolene.
no,
No,
nothing.
but yes, you're correct. All the attention goes to them, and they become the, focus.
Right.
So, Miss Polly, I'm curious because
Yes.
your mom was married to your real father, then got married to another person who both were alcoholics. Have you ever talked to her about it, or did you ever have a discussion with her about that particular situation, or
Which situation?
about
Either one.
both men being alcoholics? Is that even a topic to have?
I think my biological father was not he drank every day, but I never noticed him in terms, if you want to go by the strict guidelines of alcoholism, he probably was.
Yeah.
However, my stepfather and my mom acknowledges that. The problem with my stepfather is if I take her away and she and I talk one-on-one where it's just her and myself, she knows he's an alcoholic and she knows his drinking is an issue. Except that it becomes more of an issue when she talks about it. Wow. If he is in the room or if she talks to him about it.
Do you have any of that in your family?
Fortunately, I don't. No.
Have you dated someone who does have that?
No one that I got into anything remotely serious with. I'm sure I dated plenty of alcoholics that were,
But
just from all the partying and stuff like that.
Cool,
but
though. That's really
I'm very
amazing.
fortunate at that
because
point.
that's really an issue. It's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But let's go to the next one. What is your medical family history?
What do you mean?
Like, you have to ask.
I have never
Is that
thought
pertinent?
that.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever asked that either.
Heart disease? Is there cancer? Is there diabetes? What is in your family?
That's an interesting topic.
Could potentially, do you have, this
You
is
could pass on to the family or children.
do you have siblings that already have children, or aunts, uncles that have children? Is there,
That's a really good one.
are there birth defects in your family? Is
But how do you
Down
ask?
So
syndrome?
funny enough,
It's-
so it's funny you're saying this because I've only had one person that I dated who specifically asked me this.
What?
And she wasn't asking it to me in the sense of, hey, can we date? She was like, hey, you need to get this extra coverage. It was Stacy, the fitness chick. When I dated her, she'd had this extra policy specifically through Aflac for cancer. It was like $10-15 a month, but it was some long-term cancer insurance specifically for that. I never had anyone even ploy that question towards me. And I ended up getting it, but she said the same thing. She's like, if you get cancer, and I think we hear stories like this, but it's just a question we don't ask, this exact question. Because cancer, depending on what you have and how long the treatment is, it can destroy your entire insurance plan. It can destroy you financially. But if you get these extra policies, these extra coverages that are like $10 or $15 a month, $20 a month tops, they're specifically for these extra extravagant bills. And so now, I know. I thought once she laid it out, I was like, well, fuck, that makes all the sense in the world. Because we only get insurance and health insurance and car insurance. It's for the what if, right? We don't count.
Right.
We don't plan on getting into an accident. We don't plan on getting sick. Like I have life insurance, a 7-figure life insurance policy for Jet. I don't plan on dying, but if I do, he's good, right?
Yeah.
But that's interesting. You're the second person that I've ever heard that from, but it's a great topic because it's a real question.
It is a real question. I think
I
it's
have a
important.
$100,000 life insurance policy, and I'm good.
Is it like a make or break though? Is it something that
It depends on how strongly you feel about it.
yeah.
I had a friend who, this is crazy. So there was a girlfriend of mine that lived next to me. I was in a duplex when I was in Dallas doing hair. She was engaged. She was dating this guy, and he had cancer years before. He ended up getting cancer again, and he passed away. And when he passed away, she didn't realize he had all this insane credit card debt, like a 6-figure credit card debt that she inherited by being his wife. No clue. And I remember seeing her so stressed out, like losing hair. It was crazy. The stress that she was experiencing that. But
Which is why you also talk about finances, which we talked about on other podcasts.
Because what you see is not always what you get.
No.
For sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, and those are tough conversations.
Would you be opposed to mental health treatment?
Fuck.
For
no.
my partner?
For myself, for my partner, I guess
Or your children?
So let's
So
go back.
like you have to go
Yeah, all of it.
all of
Get
that.
it.
Dial that
Do-
back in then. So because that was a broad question, right? So dial that question in.
So I'm going to just give an example.
Okay.
That's how I read it. Say that you have a child. Child goes to school, struggles in school, doesn't have mental health issues, but maybe has attention deficit,
Dyslexia or something like that.
whatever. Are you okay with your child not being a straight A student to not put them on these medications? Or are you all for putting them on medicine so they can...
Oh, so you asked that question.
that's how I would ask it.
I would too, because I guess I'm not okay with that. I personally work with young people, and I saw it with my own eyes, the behavioral, I can't say the word.
Yeah, you,
Changes.
You did good. That was
Yeah,
good.
it's like I almost felt weird in my mouth. That was weird. I couldn't get that out. I had students who were not on medication and they got medicated, and it was literally the saddest thing I've ever seen. I won't say this person is, but it's years later, but she would not take the medication on purpose because it made her feel so depressed.
really?
Mm-hmm. And I feel like, this is probably not a very nice thing to say, but I feel like it's lazy parenting.
Yeah.
Because most of those kids that are hyperactive are very artistic and they're very smart. You have, as a parent, it's your job to figure out what calms them down, which I think a lot of
channel
parents,
that energy into other things, and not every kid has to be a straight A student. I
Right.
mean that is so silly in my eyes. I know personally someone whose 3 children were all on Ritalin. You can't tell me that all 3 needed it.
Wow.
All 3 children became either prescription drug addicted or drug addicted.
Yeah.
It's so important that people look at all the like. It makes it easy. It's a really quick fix, but
For sure.
the long run is
Short-term
not a
quick fix.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
sometimes
that's important.
There's also cases, I think it's, and I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a second, because just to offer a different view,
okay.
I probably should have been on medication as a child. Not necessarily severe ADD.
But I feel like I could have been then too. I feel like I would have made much better grades.
But see, that's the thing, is that I struggle because I was a straight A student. Don't get me wrong. For me, and I'm still very competitive with myself in terms of having to always get 100. I have to get an A. I have to. That's me.
Right.
But I also have major issues with distraction. And yes, I was a dancer. I was artistic, did art, did music, did dance, did all of those things. And a lot of people think, well, there's a difference. And don't get me wrong, there's a difference between ADD and ADHD.
Hmm.
So,
what's the difference? What is the
You've
difference?
got attention deficit disorder. You've got attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder. Not every person that has ADD also is hyper. Hyperactivity where they just can't stop, and I can't keep from doing every little thing, and you never get anything done.
Yeah.
Right.
You have so many irons in the fire, so many balls in the air, and then eventually you start to drop them.
But don't you think that as children, I feel like as young people that are developing, I feel like that is such a strong medication.
And here's
For
the
sure.
thing. It may not I think that they are overdosing instead of starting in underdosing and using behavior modification. That is also a method that you can use. So if you get a really good therapist and a good psychiatrist working in conjunction with each other, which is kind of hard to do and get. That's why you have a parent that really pays attention to these things.
So there you go with that conversation. That is an important
For sure.
conversation because, to be honest with you,
yes.
I would have huge struggles if my spouse believed in medicating our children because they were hyperactive or whatever. And I have
Taking it a combination effort.
I know.
Not-
I'm just telling you, I couldn't.
No.
do it.
I
That's why.
So the way I view it is this. I agree with everybody here, and I'll explain where I mean with that. I agree that it's so much easier nowadays to pop a pill for anybody, for kids, for adults, for anything, and it seems to be the quick fix. But the long term part of it, it's a fuck up for sure. Do I think that it's appropriate at times? Absolutely, but I agree that you have to be more than a lazy parent. And most parents will give their child some sort of pill or remedy of that sort because you're right. They're working, they're busy, they're not making the time for it. But there's other factors that play a big role. And I really believe this. Nutrition plays a major role. When you're giving your
right.
kids shit all the time,
Yeah.
you're feeding them processed foods and McDonald's.
Yes.
And I think a treat is good. I think they
Yes.
should have that. They're kids.
Yeah.
But you can't be giving your kids soda and shit.
I couldn't agree with
right?
you more.
What are they
So-
saying, that red 40, whatever that color is that makes the kids
Yes, the
super
dye,
hyper?
that dye, yeah. It's
Yeah.
like in all the Lucky Charms and all the different
Yeah.
cereals. But I think if we can address it all from nutrition, because
I didn't have any of that.
yeah, what's that?
Oh.
I didn't have any of that growing up.
Yeah,
Let me tell you that.
and I think in fairness to everybody growing up, it wasn't thought of such a pertinent thing as it is today. And the same thing like that red 40, whatever the different dyes and stuff that
Yeah.
are in cereals and foods and whatnot. We get into this unfortunate habit of reading a label or misreading a label or it's misguiding us, and we're thinking, it's organic or it's this or it's vegan, and it's just as processed and full of shit as something that's unprocessed, right?
How do you know then?
That's the whole part about it, is being really taking time to be informed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that easy though.
I think also though, I want to make sure that people understand that it's not everyone in a
Correct.
we're not throwing everyone in one box.
Right.
There's of course children that need mental health, and the problem is way bigger. I'm just talking about your hyperactive kids. Like I have a great example. All three of my kids were hyperactive. I'm going to tell you right now. It's hard because I had one playing dancing, one playing ball, whatever, and then the other one had to watch, and they would never sit still, and it was driving me crazy. I was like, I want to watch. And you're constantly rushing after them or whatever. And then I remember so clearly, I saw this one child sitting at a baseball game. He was little. He wasn't moving. It just sat there like a blob.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, you know what? I would rather take my kids being like that because they have personality, and I'm not masking their personality. They get to grow up and be who they are.
It's a crazy
just
thing.
Something to think about, to discuss.
I agree with you 100% that, I think it's appropriate at times. It is. There's just sometimes there is an imbalance hormonally or mentally or emotionally that the only thing to fix it is a bioengineered, a medical, like a man-made pill.
And that's the thing, but make sure you go find that out
because it is, right? It's so easy to give a pill. And
easy.
my brother, when he was married, his wife was big on giving their kids like ADHD medicine
Yeah.
or ADD, and it was so fucking ridiculous because everything was a pill, everything was a pill, everything was a pill, and now their second to oldest kid is like just a total shit show.
Yeah.
Kids. And I feel for the kid. He's a good kid, but I mean, he's had so many health problems because the challenge that people don't realize is just because you take a pill for one thing doesn't mean it doesn't throw something else off the balance.
That's been her thing forever. And I think too, when I was at the studio, I would have healthcare professionals, like the parents, and their kids like couldn't go to the bathroom. And instead of like feeding them fruit, I was like, okay, they can't poop, whatever. Give them a fucking apple. They would give them like pills, like to make them
Like
go to the rest.
laxatives.
Why couldn't
Laxatives.
they use the bathroom? Was there a reason or just they couldn't use
The
the bathroom?
diet.
Like
Kid
the
diet.
Yeah. What's that?
That they're dehydrated.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I think some kids just get constipated,
Yeah, for
but
sure.
give them an apple or some prunes. I don't know why you would give them a laxative. They're
Prunes
like, I
will
gave
definitely do it for you.
Right. If I had to change my diet because of medical concerns, would you be willing to change yours?
Fuck yeah. Absolutely. I would. So I'm so regimented. Sorry to take this one up. My diet is so regimented and it's so insanely healthy that more than likely whoever I was with would want to change their diet to mine because it's going to give them the best benefit. It tastes really good.
yeah.
And you get, everything you need in there. So I use a big whole food plant-based nutrition diet. I'm not vegan, but I have a lot of these cruciferous vegetables and these foods that are high in nitric oxides. So you get vasodilation, a lot of dense micronutrients in the blood. So it flows to everything. And when you have more oxygenated,
I
dense,
love how you
I
explain
know. I remember that from your first
Does that make
show.
sense though?
Yes,
So
it's
when you-
incredible.
Yeah, when you have more,
Everybody ask Bernie what he's eating because I'm going to ask.
but when you have this really dense,
Bernie, can you make a
I
two
can.
posh eating plan?
I sure can. I absolutely can. But when we have dense micronutrient rich oxygenated blood flowing to our brain, our cognitive thinking is up. Even for men, when you have dense oxygenated blood flowing to your penis, your cock gets harder. For women, same thing. Is there like everything flows so well together. Your muscles grow bigger. Everything grows better when you have good dense nutrient blood. So anyways,
Is that from vegetables or what is that?
so there's different foods that are high in nitric oxide. So inside the arteries, there's what's called the endothelial cell wall. So in nitric oxide, like spinach, kale, arugula, broccoli, all of these foods are high in nitric oxide on top of other dense nutrients. But when you eat it and your body processes it, that nitric oxide, that gas hits those cells and it makes them open up. It's called vasodilation. So they open
Yeah.
up and dilate. So when you're getting dilation there, you're getting more blood flow. But on top of getting that blood flow, if you're eating more healthy foods that are dense in micronutrients, you're getting more blood flow that's oxygenated, but it's full of vitamins and nutrients. So you're feeding everything. It's a game changer for like migraines, for your heart
Yeah,
health,
Mom.
for men. I say this because it's true. Like for erections, for sexual health, for gaining muscle, for even if you're having irritation in your joints, like inflammation or something like that, you get more blood flowing. Everything works better.
Wow.
I mean,
love
I would
that.
do it if it's healthy. I'm not going to
Yeah.
change to not healthy.
No, but like, if someone is diabetic, I think there's a fine line. Like, I think for health reasons, yes. But if someone becomes diabetic, I don't think I need to eat a
No.
diabetic diet. So I think there's
See,
a fine
that's
line.
where I was going to go with mine. Yeah. Because they may be changing their diet to reduce their A1C and everything else.
Well,
which
I'm
is a
still going
bit
to eat a cookie. Maybe I just want to eat it in front of you.
But it's also I think the biggest takeaway, correct me if you guys disagree with me, is being able to educate. If it's your partner and this is someone you're choosing to be with, that's a small give, a diet. And it's all about educating yourself more so that you can, if it's going to benefit them, it's going to benefit you in the sense that y'all are both eating healthier.
That's
you're going to
true.
feel better. And then you have those times where you can have different treats, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, if they go with a plant-based diet because that's what's healthier for them, I may not necessarily give up my chicken.
I think that's
I'm
totally
sorry.
fair,
That's
though.
very
I think
reasonable.
that's fair.
That's,
Just depends.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but yeah, I'm still going to have my turkey and my chicken.
I
and
don't
my
blame you.
fish.
Are you willing to exercise with me to improve our health?
That is very important to me.
I couldn't date someone who did not exercise.
can't
If
either.
in your lifestyle, we're not getting past a date. We're not getting to a date. If someone didn't work out, it's so important to me.
guess we can't date Bernie.
I love you either way. I love you.
I don't care if you work out with me or not. I just cannot date somebody who is unhealthy, unfit in that. For me, it just doesn't work.
I agree. I mean, that's just part of my lifestyle.
I'm working on that, damn it.
See, but there, to that point right there, you're working on it. That's the important part. If it's someone who just doesn't even attempt, that's not sexy at all. But if someone's really making strong strides and they're willing to, I mean, it doesn't have to be we don't have to do it all together at the same time, but it's a cool relationship thing. Like, I like when I'm dating someone that we can go to the gym together. Or, I mean, it's just those little things that I get to spend extra time with them. And even if not working out together, but we're there together, it's cool.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that as long as you're working on your health.
Yes, agreed.
Because
Definitely.
I know that it has been a struggle and a bitch. But I mean, losing, 70 pounds in the last
Which is amazing, by the way.
That's incredible. And you look amazing.
It has not been easy.
Of course not, but it's absolutely impressive. Yeah. And you're going to do it. Yeah.
I still have about another 40 to go, so.
You got it. Anger management.
Oh, yes.
Would I be opposed to me going or them going? Or either one?
What's the discussion like? How are we discussing this?
I don't know. If you're that angry that you need anger management, I'm not sure we should be dating.
The question being, if anger management was an issue, you could preface it with, are you opposed to seeking
Bernie's shaking his
Hell
head.
no. The minute I see angry, go fuck off. That's my anger part.
Say that again.
I said if the minute I see someone angry.
I did not say angry or anger. I said the question being,
She said,
would you be opposed to seeking help from a professional should either of us need
anger?
That's a real question. There's no way that's a real question.
There's people, have you not seen people that are so angry? They cannot contain their anger. They start throwing shit. They start slamming doors. They're screaming. They are.
So here's my question. With that being said,
would
would you ever want to even get, I mean, why would anyone want to? I get it. Okay, sorry.
Have you ever gotten that angry before?
Absolutely. Yes. I've gotten
you
so
have?
I've gotten so mad. Everyone has had their moments where we lose our shit, right? But just think about this standpoint. If we're having the real conversation, asking the questions up front, right? Why would you even allow that to be the start of a relationship? It's one thing, I think, if you're dating someone and you get kind of involved, then they're fucking angry and they're assholes, or they're bitches, they're cunts, or whatever it is after the fact. But at the beginning, man, I could not. I think at my age,
that's such a red flag,
right? That was just like, man, if I saw any hint at the beginning, nobody's that good looking.
I think it's one thing to get angry sometimes, but it's another thing to let every little thing
become an issue.
Such an issue that like you're screaming and breaking stuff. Like, I find that to be like a weakness because you don't know how to control your behavior.
Emotions?
Yeah, your emotions. You're emotionally unstable.
And the other part you got to think about is if you have children too.
Yes.
Because I think about I honestly in the last couple of years
extremely detrimental.
I date for Jet too. Like I swear to God, like I think, okay, is this good for my son if I'm dating this person? And so
I used to think that being with somebody, and I didn't have kids with them, but I thought about it like if I did have children with them, that I would feel bad for my kids that this person is so angry, because it's very scary when you're little and then you already get anxiety because your parent is so psycho.
Yeah.
So I didn't want that.
And that anxiety that kids have, that lingers into, that falls into other parts of life, right? I mean, like Miss Polly, you were talking about your real dad and then your stepdad. And how now, you have these things, you're still dealing with this craziness in them, right? So, I mean, I think
56 years old and still dealing with it.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I guess it's more like when you're with someone for a long time and they start to get angry. I don't know.
Yeah.
Postpartum? Do you get angry when you have postpartum?
I think you get
you
angry, depressed, crying.
So that's what I
postpartum
mean.
is
I
very
guess
upsetting.
it's would you go to anger? Is that what you're asking then? Because you can't avoid the question because this is not pre-dating checklist. It's pre-marriage. So you've already been with this person for a long time.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
So you're like, lately you've been really angry, or maybe they start taking steroids. I'm not joking, but like,
no, those are real things. I wasn't thinking about that. This is past. This is
premarital.
This is like we're about.
So you're already involved.
You're already involved.
Oh,
You're
God.
thinking about marrying this
Yeah.
Like
God.
suddenly you were good the first 2 years, and then now you're very angry.
Yeah.
Like,
So now let me ask this.
Happened.
So let me ask this then. What, say that again.
I mean, I would be asking, okay, is this premarital idea stressing you? Are you angry? Why are you angry? What are we angry about?
I guess I would want them to say that yes, they would be open to anger management if their anger was starting to become an issue.
But here's the other part. So that's fair, right?
really
I think
smart.
it's a very fair thing. But here's a challenge. Because I can say for sure I've been in situations, relationships, and when I was married, there was times where I was angry. I was angry about being married. I was angry. I was married to this man, But no, I think that the challenging part of it is if you've been with them for 2 years, or you're even 6 months or 8 months, and you're invested. You're like emotionally invested in this person. You love this person. You actually really love this person, and so you're on this very slippery slope of like, do I give up? Do I cut this off and say fuck it and end it? Or do we look past it and see the good in them that got us dating them, right? So that's a tough one right there. I mean,
Which it's hard to tell an angry person to go to anger management.
correct, because they're gonna be defensive on this immediately because they're just acting normal.
But
your
that's where
problem.
I think I like what Marcella said. If that becomes an issue for whatever reason that is, would you be willing?
To
Because
go.
that alone, like if you're pre-marriage asking that, and that person goes, never.
Because I would go.
But I think we all are. I think everybody, in fairness to the question, everyone's going to say, if it's in a calm moment, like, "Hey, babe, I just want you to know I love you, and if we ever had issues, would you?" I mean, who's going to be like, "Fuck you and hell no"? They're going to say, "Baby,
But
of course
I feel like
would."
some people would. So take a very old school, like Italian cultured person, because I know this is like how they are because I've seen it. I don't know. I just threw that.
Because you're angry.
Marcella's angry.
Their like old school mentality is no therapy. Like that's a weakness. Like you don't go to therapy.
That's how Puerto Rican culture is.
Yeah,
too. It's like
Okay,
loud.
Hispanics have that same culture.
I know,
like
God.
we're not going to go to family therapy. We're not going to counseling. I'm not going to anger management. That's a weakness. So I think some people are very upfront about that.
Yeah.
And
Do you
I feel
think
like, no.
do you think it's more the cultural aspect of they don't want people to see their weakness? Because I can say from my perspective, my family, it's not about they're being too cool for it. It's they're not going to let anyone else see that they're dysfunctional. They're messed up, right?
I think it's just the way you're
They
raised.
might have issues.
I
Yeah.
tell you what I've seen lately more than ever before. People that you would never dream of agreeing with therapy, when push comes to shove and before they're losing their marriage, suddenly they will agree. It doesn't mean that will help, but I've seen a lot of people actually go through therapy that I would have never thought would.
Well, I guess when it's really on the line.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It just depends
I agree.
how stubborn you are.
all right. I think it is time to
Is that all of them?
That
That's
flew by quick.
for the
I know.
medic.
How long was that? That seemed like that just flew.
Hi, we are actually at the end of the hour and we still got to
Wow.
do the question of the day and
Right.
Miss Polly. What do we
Dun,
do
dun, dun.
Is there a part 2 medical or is that all?
No, medical, we're
Oh,
done.
Wow.
That's it.
All right.
So let's do the question of the day first.
I'm surprised you know this about vaccination.
The two posh girls ask the question of the day.
It's a big topic.
Is baby talk between significant others normal
Throw
or
up.
weird?
Absolutely.
Throw up. Gag.
Absolutely. It's completely normal.
Ew, I hate it. You baby talk, Bernie.
Hell yeah.
No,
You, Marcella, with you. I'm just kidding.
I don't do it.
No, not at all. I'm being funny with that. I'm kidding. I don't think it's weird though.
so non-sexy.
Some
It
of it's
depends on the
weird.
situation. Like I definitely think it's situational because like I will baby talk with my dogs in front of anyone I'm dating. My dogs have a specific. I no. I get it, right? But I don't have like I can't think of anyone I've ever had a baby talking conversation with.
Wait, don't we know someone who does it?
Who?
One of my best friends, they do it all the time, and it makes me so uncomfortable.
Like they'll do it in front of you guys?
Everybody. Oh, Pookie baby bear.
Yeah, no, that's no.
It's so.
No.
I'll have baby talk with
disturbing.
my dog in front of everybody else. Like my dogs have their own voices and their own personalities.
I'm like, I talked to Chanel one way, but
What's
never
Chanel's
really-
voice? Let's hear. How do you talk to Chanel?
Good morning, little baby. Oh my God.
She is pretty stinking cute.
She's like,
Did she? Yeah.
she's sleeping, but I mean,
Yeah.
I don't talk to her like, meow, 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 meow. Like I don't do that.
But yeah, I agree with you. I wouldn't necessarily think it was. I don't think I would be like, oh, that's fucking weird. They're talking. I don't think I'd think
I
anything about it.
cringe. Oh yes,
I
I
cringe
cringe
too.
Do y'all really?
Too
It
much,
cringes
yes.
me.
See, who are y'all hanging? It's just that one couple, or do y'all have more?
That
than-
one couple is all comes to mind, but it's
Miss Polly?
extreme.
I have nobody that I know of. Well, now I take that back. My ex-sister-in-law
Would
that was
baby
married
talk?
to my brother, his first wife, she would talk to everybody that way.
Oh,
and
that's
especially him.
Weird.
I don't.
But be like,
That's so funny.
every time she would open her mouth, I'm like, you're in your 50s, honey.
Yeah, it's
You
weird.
need to stop.
It weirds me out when adults act
Oh.
like babies anyway.
Yes.
But hey,
it's
hold
weird.
on a second though. So the other devil's advocate to this.
Go ahead.
I mean, if a couple has their little baby language that works for them,
Keep
why?
it private.
But why?
Right.
Why?
Private.
I don't
mean, I'm
want
just
that's
saying.
like that's the same reason why I don't want to see you making out at the table. I am really but this is
I don't-
my opinion is I'm really weird about PDA.
Are you?
I'm weird about it with myself and I'm weird about it with other people. Take that shit
so
somewhere
tell us
else.
about. So tell me about that. So is it matter? You don't like to see people just even kiss in front of you, or
Kiss, but
like
like
making out and stuff?
You don't
Yeah.
have to like throw
get
your tongues down each other's throats
like
or
this is so
Yeah.
awkward. Like
I wouldn't feel like it was. I wouldn't want to see that. I agree. Like I thought. I don't know if you were talking about just like holding hands or kissing.
no,
or something
no,
like
no,
that.
no.
Yeah.
Hugging like your normal kissing.
Yeah,
your
your normal PDA. I
like
get it.
snuggling or sitting on somebody's lap,
Yeah.
holding hands, like rubbing on their back, whatever. That's normal. I'm
Yeah.
talking like the people who are like.
Like the after hours
Meow,
club,
meow.
making out and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
yes, like
There's people who do that
on
present.
the dance floor right there in front of you.
They're
I
usually
also-
shit faced.
I also no, they're not always like that,
Really?
and I also despise when they want to share their sex life all the time. I'm like, stop! I don't care. I don't care that you had sex this morning. I don't need to know. Drives
Yeah.
me crazy. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm like, what
no.
does that mean? Even why do you tell that?
Unless you ask me, it's not a topic of conversation.
Yeah, if you ask me, I'll tell you. But
that
I don't
wouldn't
just
bug me if
randomly bring it up.
someone was saying they had sex that morning. Like it wouldn't bug me if they were starting to go into detail. I'd be like, I mean, that would be weird to me. But just I don't know. But I mean, I don't have any of my buddies who
With
are
your
like,
girlfriends, it's one thing to go into detail, like if you're all
Yes.
together
That's
and you're
different.
you're talking about technique or something.
That's so different.
That's
So different, yes. But if you're in a mixed group and
Okay,
not
now-
everybody
yeah.
is into that
I would
conversation.
like
I
kick
would-
my partner under the table.
I would
Why do
think
you
they were
want anybody
such
to
a
see me
idiot.
like that?
I would think someone was a loser. Like I would just
Right?
think
Thank
you're
you.
fucking stupid.
I just
Right.
was in that situation.
Were you
God,
in
yes.
Mexico?
No.
What happened?
Ugh,
She'll have to tell you.
I
in a
can't
minute.
tell you because
You don't
I'm
say any
so afraid.
specific.
I
of,
think
like,
it's gonna be so obvious
Yes,
to
God.
them. To them.
Yes.
Never mind then. Tell us after we
Yeah, I'll
get off
tell you
the air.
after. How you feel about that, Spyder? I want to know your opinion.
Oh, I don't even baby talk babies, so I don't put up with that shit at all.
Exactly.
Dude, that's
Exactly.
so funny.
I don't either. I don't baby
my
talk baby.
spirit animal.
I only baby talk my dogs.
Yeah.
There
That's
you
it.
go.
My French bulldogs, I'll baby talk.
I think
don't
it's
even-
weird to baby talk babies. I do. I think that's like I think it's so strange.
No, see,
Well,
I
to
don't.
me,
I don't
it's
at
like,
all.
If I
I don't
talk
at
to
all.
them like that, it feels like they're going to start talking like that.
That's
I don't
what-
want that shit.
Exactly.
Well, when my sister was born, my mom said to everybody, "Do not talk to her like a baby. Speak to her like an
I
adult."
never did.
So we
ever.
all
you.
talked to her like she was a little adult.
I would have moments where I would talk to Jet and some gibberish bullshit, whatever, but not in a consistent like all the time when he was younger. I don't do it anymore now. But I don't think there's anything wrong when you're talking to your own kiddo, because if it's your own kiddo, that's yours. You get to do whatever you want. If it's gibberish or baby talk, that's
you do.
yours.
You get to do whatever you want. I
Correct.
won't be doing that.
Watch. You get knocked up, you're gonna be like, "Oh, you be."
I didn't do it with my sister.
You may if you have a kiddo.
No,
Just saying.
I don't talk like that.
You may.
No.
All right,
I can't see it.
it's time for Miss Party with Miss Polly.
It's time to party with Miss Polly.
I'm so happy you're here for this.
So,
I'm so happy
remember
too.
how we do this.
Oh yeah, this is
None
her
of
name.
us have any clue. She's
I know.
got her own questions.
None.
Let's do this.
It's a surprise.
I love it.
You know, like you're digging your hand in the bottom of the cereal box.
Surprise.
And the question of the day, party with Miss Polly. So how does a person learn to deep throat?
How do you learn how
I
to
can't
do
answer that one. This is gonna have to Potty. Go ahead.
I heard open your throat.
Actually,
Do you not deep throat when you're
it's
I would
mean-
throw up.
really?
Go ahead.
Actually, it's important for as the giver, whoever's giving the deep throat, to find the best angle that works for them.
But
for
so
some-
can everybody do that or no?
Everyone can learn. Okay,
Everyone's got to be able to learn. I'd imagine.
it can be challenging.
Like
But-
throwing up on someone's penis?
That I've never had anyone
It
throw up
can
my dick,
happen.
but
I know my girlfriend that
It
happened to
can.
her.
you was
So
it?
here's the thing: some prefer kneeling over the penis, while others find it's easier to lean their head off the bed and have the penis inserted from that angle.
Oh, like upside
Mine
down.
personally,
Yep, had that one done.
that's the one that works. Breathing in at the same time as taking the penis
What did you
in
just
can be
say?
helpful.
I've done that a couple times.
Oh, I thought you said something.
Sorry, go ahead. Breathing in what?
Breathing in at the same time as taking in the penis can be helpful, then exhale when it's coming out. They should go
Wow, this is like a
slowly.
step-by-step, play-by-play on.
Slowly.
All right.
Yes.
Slowly.
Slowly to adjust to the natural gag reflex, which can be numbed with throat sprays if it's a difficult challenge. Also,
But can't you, if you're numbing it? Hold on a second. If you take a throat spray, can't you numb someone's penis? Like
no,
by it being on.
you let it,
I mean,
like
it's a
you
legit
let it
question.
absorb. It's not going to spray there.
See,
tip
that
of it
seems like that's
besides
just way too set up for like the
Yeah,
moment.
but would you rather? Well, here's the thing, Bernie. Hold on.
to tell.
Before
Yeah,
Here we go.
because
they're
you're not
taking
the giver.
initiative to try to do that for you if they can't, number one.
That just
Number
seems
two, you
like,
wanted to throw up everywhere because it does happen.
I've been fortunate. I've never had anyone throw up my dick, and I'm just saying.
gag.
I mean, the gag is fine. Gag as much as you want.
The gag is
just
what
take it
they
all in.
want.
I'm just saying.
To make
But
them
we're
feel
not talking
big.
about. Hey! We're talking about the person learning.
Yes.
Fair
It
enough.
needs to be a
Fair
conversation
enough.
together as to what one person is equally giving and the other is equally taking, so that there's a give and take and a communication process going.
Listen, ladies,
I
y'all
hear-
need to learn how to do this before.
I hear Miss Polly getting ready for her whole segment with Bernie.
I'm excited. I'm super excited.
Okay, so Miss Polly, continue before Bernie interrupted you. Just go slowly.
Keep going.
Go slowly, of course. And like I was saying, that there are actual other throat sprays that don't necessarily numb, but help relax, and so they don't numb your dick.
Thank God. Thank God.
That you're
Nobody wants
so
a numb
worried
dick.
about happening.
Because I mean, I don't want
Stop
my
it.
dick numb. I
Stop
want to feel all of it. I want to feel all of it.
Miss Polly's a professional.
I
I'm
know.
so sorry she's not here in person right now.
I
Awesome.
smack you.
I know. I feel like she just gotten up and smacked you.
Many times. Many times.
Also, keeping a moistened grip on the end of the penis by his balls can also allow for greater control so that they don't thrust too
A
much.
moistened grip.
You've got a guide that won't let you do that.
Wow.
Okay. So, I mean,
Wow.
actually, it can feel incredible for the person with the penis for a few reasons, of course, because, well,
Yes,
It-
it does.
provides firm, broad pressure to one of the most sensitive parts of the penis, which is the tip. Okay. And the shaft, well, it kind of gives you that whole feeling of actually putting it in to, it's like another vagina.
Done the right way, you're correct.
I saw a girl
There
put
is
a full banana
actually-
down there. It
There
shocked me.
Down
is
like her throat?
actually-
I want to date her. Set me up with her.
Oh my God.
God.
There is actually some that believe the vagus nerve, which runs from your throat down to your vagina, can also be stimulated through deep throat. So it's possible some women actually claim to have an orgasm.
Listen here, ladies. Listen to Miss Polly. She knows what she's saying.
Oh my
I love you, Miss Polly.
I love
I'm
you
watching
too.
Spyder.
Just saw
Keep
Bernie
later.
completely change his tune.
Man, I'm telling you. Miss Polly knows everything. Y'all listen.
On that note, thank you for listening. We
And for the
appreciate
deep throat
everyone.
lesson.
Yes. Thank you for listening to our show, and please subscribe to all our
Subscribe.
social media platforms. We're everywhere.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.